when life breaks you down, the choice that you actually get to make. That's what I'm going to be talking about on today's video. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome back. My name is Dom, and I help people to step into their truth and power when life breaks you down. You know, those times in life where we experience a massive shift. Perhaps it's a job loss or a divorce or the loss of a loved one or even an illness of some kind. It's the moment when we're often brought to our knees and our hearts get cracked open in a way that changes us in a really profound way. It's often the time we really lean into our spirituality. Now, when I speak of spirituality, I'm not speaking about a religion you practice, but something much more intimate. I'm talking about the being in relationship and connection with openness of what is. And with that openness, a far greater power comes into your life. In your openness, you give permission for that greater power, whatever that personally is for you, whatever you believe in, to wash over you, to nurture you, to provide for you, to heal you, to move through whatever you're experiencing and is breaking you open. Becoming aware of the aliveness of this moment, the aliveness that is all around you, no matter where you are, and whether you're out in nature surrounded by trees, grass, and water, or in a city around tall buildings, or sitting alone in your room. But to become aware that you need to become a little more alert than you've been. And in becoming more aware and alert, a dimension opens up that is deeper and faster than you're thinking possible, which is essentially the spiritual state. It's an inner stillness that we connect with. And born out of that comes creativity, a joy, which is a deep sense of aliveness. And out of that comes how to love. And increasingly you become rooted in the aliveness and the fullness of what is in the present moment. This is the foundation of being connected to and leading a spiritual life. So I'd like to invite you to take all the pain, all of the disappointment that you've been carrying around with you, and take this opportunity to crack it open so that you can start living your best life. And it really is just a breath away. It's a choice. It's a choice that you get to make. I want to share with you what I mean by this. My spiritual path really began to accelerate when life began cracking me open. That first big event for me was my divorce. Nothing had awakened my heart as much as the pain of a broken family. And nothing has given me as much strength as the time I spent alone in the ruined aftermath of a marriage. It's when the most devastating things happen to you that you're in your holiest of moments, because that's where you really get to see who you really are. This is because we spend so much of our life trying to be what we think we're supposed to be, what society wants us to be, what our parents think we should be, what our spouses think we should be, and even just our own image of who we think we're supposed to be as a good person. So through the experience of going through the divorce and being a divorced dad with 2 young boys, I lost a lot. I didn't just lose my wife in a divorce, but I lost my family unit. I lost my financial security. I lost my self-image. I lost my home. I lost my support system. I lost friends. And everything really changed for me. Because in the depth of that loss, I began to find out who I really was and began to trust who I was. I began to find, for the first time, a genuine version of me that could withstand anything. And so I realized at that moment I had 2 choices. I could break down and stay broken and shut down, or I could break open. And I realized that it's a decision. It's a choice that I got to make. Inside that choice is a commitment to oneself. In realizing this choice, I had decided that I am going through a very hard time, but I also decided that I'm not going to waste any more of this precious experience or this opportunity to become a better, stronger version of me than when I started. So one of the questions I've gotten used to asking my experiences or my crises is, what are you here to teach me? What are you here to teach me? So I had to ask, what did my divorce teach me about me? And the very first thing I realized after I worked through my initial hurt and anger is that I couldn't blame anybody for what had gone wrong. I had spent a bit of time blaming my ex, but I had to take the responsibility myself, the full responsibility for the experience I was having in my life. I asked, what does this have to teach me about me? Not about her or what about an unfair life this is. It's not about any of those things. It's what did I do to make this happen? And if I could sit in the pain of that, because the pain is really just looking at yourself and what you did to create the mess that you find yourself in. And if you can look at that head on fearlessly and say, teach me about myself so that I can grow. And so although it was a cold and icy experience in that first year or two after the divorce, that is actually when the healing began, when I learned another important lesson. And that was, I thought I was unhappy because I wasn't getting. But then I realized I wasn't happy because I wasn't giving. It was profound. I had to begin living in the spirit of blessing instead of the spirit of blame. And that realization completely changed my perspective of the experience I thought I was having. I created the experience I was having much more than I ever thought before. And so with that realization, I let go of my hurt and anger and took responsibility for my experience. And that is when healing was able to finally begin. And by the end of the second year, things shifted after we took our first family vacation to Disney World as divorced parents. And it wound up being the best vacation we've ever experienced. Now we're very supportive of each other in co-parenting and raising our kids together, and we take annual vacations together with the kids. And it's been so much better for our family. But this was a choice I had to make, and it took work, but the work was worth it. So the spiritual path doesn't mean an easier path, but it means you have choice. A choice we're making to try our best, to be our best as loving as we can be, first to ourselves and then to others. And so with that, I'm curious, when it comes to life breaking you down or breaking you open and giving you the option to have choice, what is the most powerful thing you're realizing or taking from this video today? Share in the comments below, because I want to encourage you to embrace this so that you can begin healing and living it out too. It will really impact and change your life. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to invite you to my brand new free online community, ProEmpowerment Online. I'll be sharing valuable tips and content each week in the newsfeed of that new community, but even more, you'll have the ability to join the conversation in a place where we can share freely without being shut down or censored. And I've also loaded some brand new online courses that I've created that you can register for. To join me in the community, it's 100% free. Just click on the Pro Empowerment Online link in the comments and description box below. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you for joining me today. And until I connect with you again for my next video, stay well, stay healthy, and stay empowered.